Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Board Game Museum's Top 100 Vintage Board Games. And we're going to be looking at number 70 through 61. So let's get started. Number 70 is a little cat and mouse game called Scotland Yard. This game is set in London, and you are going to be trying to find a Mr. X. Now, one player is going to be Mr. X, and the other player is going to be detectives trying to find them. So this is a co-op game of sorts. There's numerous ways that you're going to be able to travel, and ultimately you're going to try to find Mr. X before you end up running out of turns or running out of tokens that allow you to go from one place to another. I can tell you one thing, this is a challenging game. Um, we have yet to find Mr. X. I do, at least. I've come so close, but I've never been able to get him. The main thing is that there's so many places you can go on the board, and there's like 3 or 4 different methods of travel that you can do as well. And so there's a lot of times Mr. X is going to slip right by you, and you may not see him. Now, there's a couple of times during the game where Mr. X is going to have to reveal where he is, and so you'll sort of have an idea where he's going to be. But the main thing with this game is like the detectives are going to be talking amongst themselves, trying to figure out where he could be going. All the while, Mr. X is just trying to survive the game. So anyway, this is a very good game if you like cat and mouse games. I'd recommend it. Scotland Yard. Number 69 is a visually captivating game, and it is called Vampire Hunter. Now, this is a game that my friend Matt gave me twice, actually, which I think is great. But anyway, Vampire Hunter is a game that you play in the dark. You're going to have a little castle in the middle that has a little light that's going to go red and blue, red being day and blue being night. Now, the object is you're going to be trying to kill the vampire Dracus before he ends up escaping into the sea with his ship, and you need 3 different weapons to do it. And along the way, you're going to be uncovering tiles, some that are going to have weaponry, and you need 3 different types of weapons. Others that are going to be uncovering creatures that you're going to have to try to kill, and there's some traps in this game. Very cool looking game. The gameplay itself is fairly basic. A lot of it is just going to be controlled by the dice. But the game looks great. I love the way the game looks. The gameplay, I would say, is probably a little bit above average, but you can make the games harder with the advanced rules. It's a cool looking game for sure. Vampire Hunter. Number 68 is a game that I really like a lot. It's like a variant of Chinese checkers, and it is called Leverage. Now, Leverage is going to be played on a board that is going to tilt either to the left or the right, and it has weighted pieces. Now, there's 3 different size pieces in this game, and all the pieces in those categories have different weights. What you're going to be trying to do is you're going to be trying to get your pieces into your opponent's safety zone, but you can also win if you are able to get rid of his scoring pegs. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to position your pieces in a way to where the board tilts towards your opponent, and he's going to have to remove the safety pieces until the board balances back. Probably one of the coolest variants of Chinese checkers that I have ever seen. It definitely is a good strategy game with the different ways you can win, and a lot of times you're going to be changing your strategy just because of what is happening. But definitely a cool game, and I would recommend it. Leverage. Number 67 is a game that probably a lot of people have not heard of, and it is called Break the Safe. This is a game that is electronic, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to break into the safe, and the safe has a timer which you can set, and there's 4 keys that you have to try to find, and you're also going to have to deal with a guard and a guard dog that can send you to jail, which can be a problem. Now, a lot of these tiles, and they're all going to be in different rooms, are going to have booby traps, and then you have cards that can help disable the booby traps, and you have a robot that can help players pass cards over to other players that need them. This is a very cool game. You're going to definitely feel the tension with this as the timer starts to wind down, and you may end up getting sent to jail, and then you're going to have to get out of jail. No, it's a great game. Definitely would recommend it if you like games that are timed and you have to try to win in a certain time. And it's a co-op game as well. But definitely one I would recommend. Break the Safe. Number 66 is a very cool little bidding game called eBay the Game. Now, when you probably see this box, you're probably like, what? That can't be any good. Well, let me tell you, do not be fooled by the cover. This is a very good game. It's an electronic game, and the way it works is you're going to have a certain amount of cards that are going to be available to purchase by bidding, and there's different categories, and you're going to have a certain set of cards with numbers on them, which is going to be the bidding price. Now, the machine is going to tell you when it's your turn, and you have to place a card somewhere on one of the items if you choose to, but you have very little time to do it. So you have to be fast in this game. And random times, the machine is going to close off the bidding, and so whoever has the highest bid on a certain item is going to get it. Now, you don't know the actual value of the item until the end. It could be higher or lower than what the card says. And you can also steal people's items. You can also do collections. And if you can do that, that's going to be worth more points at the end of the game. But this is a fun game. Definitely would recommend this game. My friend Matt, he put this game as his #1 last year. Now, I'm curious to see if that's going to be his #1 this year. But this is a very fun bidding game. It's fast. It's furious. I think it's a great game. eBay the game. Number 65 is a racing game of sorts that uses marbles, and it is called the Magnificent Race. Now, in the Magnificent Race, you're going to try to be the first player to travel around the world doing these different races. You're going to have 4 different vehicles that you can use. There's a lot of things going on in this game. Not only are you going to be able to race, but you're also going to be able to collect money. You'll also be able to challenge people to races. And what you're going to do is, however many vehicles you're going to use, you're going to put them in this little bowl and then spin the bowl and then stop, and the marbles are going to go round and round and round until one of them hits this little hole in the very bottom, and whichever marble does that is going to win the race. But then you're going to race for second and third, and there's this one marble called Dastardly Dan, and the best way I can describe him is he has all the advantages. If you end up winning a race, you're going to get, like, say, 3 points. But Dastardly Dan, if he wins any of the races, or if he scores third, he's still going to move 3 spaces. So he is hard to beat. There's a lot that you can do in this game. You don't just race. You can collect money. You can collect what are called advantage cards that are going to allow you to use more marbles. This game is a lot of fun. It is totally unique, for sure. It's a fun game, The Magnificent Race. Number 64 is a game from the 3M Bookshelf Company, and it is called Executive Decision. Now, I'm going to do my best to describe what this game is about. This is a strategy game that involves cards, and it also involves a board, and this game is going to be played in a number of rounds. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be buying raw goods, and you're going to be bidding on them, and then you're going to be trying to sell the goods, trying to bid for the best price, essentially. Now, there's 3 different levels of the raw material and I believe of the goods as well, and they're both worth certain amounts. But ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to balance out the supply and the demand, because depending on how much of a product you buy and your opponent buys, that's going to make the price go up or down, and you're going to be bidding, and you're hoping that the bid that you bid is going to be higher than what the actual price is going to end up being. A lot of strategy in this game. This game was made from Sid Saxon. He made a lot of really, really good games. I would highly recommend this game if you like games that involve bidding and games that involve strategy. It's kind of like a business game of sorts. But this is a game that's really well balanced, and there's a lot that goes on in this game that you have to think about. So check out Executive Decision. Number 63 is another game that has a great component, and it is called the Bermuda Triangle. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be trying to use your 4 ships to try to pick up goods at a port and then try to deliver them to another port without getting caught by the Bermuda Triangle. Now, there's several different types of items like bananas, and these items also are worth money if you can get them to a certain port, and you're trying to get a certain amount of money at the end of the game. Now, what makes the game really interesting is the Bermuda Triangle, which is this big piece, has magnets underneath it, and after you end up moving your boat, you're going to have to move the Bermuda Triangle, and you're going to spin a spinner, and the spinner is going to determine how far it's going to move, and then you're going to have to actually spin the top as well. Sometimes it might move all the way to one end of the board or the other, and it's also going to choose the direction. Now, what makes the game fun is when this Bermuda Triangle gets really, really close to you, and you might actually be under it, but there's magnets in a couple of the places, and if you're spinning it, the magnet might actually catch the boat because the boat has magnets too, and if it does, it's going to suck the boat up, and then your boat is going to be out of the game. And if you end up losing all of your boats, you're going to be out of the game. So this game is great. I love this game. Sometimes you don't have to worry about the storm so much. Other times it's going to be blocking your path, so you can't move your boat, and you're going to have to move another boat. This is a fun game, Bermuda Triangle. Number 62 is a board game based off of a movie, and this game is Star Trek. If you're a fan of games that have good theme, I would highly recommend this one. In Star Trek, you're going to be trying to complete a certain amount of missions. There's some missions where you can actually, like for example, explore a star, and if you do that, you'll end up completing one of your missions. But somebody else could actually explore a star too, and if he chooses that particular star and puts his token on there, then you're not going to have that mission anymore, so you're going to have to try to find another way to do it. But there's several different types of missions in this game, and they did a fantastic job with the cards and the board and everything. And if you're a Star Trek fan, I think you definitely give this game a try. And finally, number 61 is a variant of a very classic game, and that is head-to-head perfection. Well, in this particular game, you're competing against somebody. There's two boards. In the middle, the timer's over there, and then as the timer's going, both of you are trying to get your pieces into their correct positions first. But what makes the game great is that you have a bar on the bottom of this, and when you're finished, you can hit this bar, and it's going to make your opponent's board blow up. And pieces are going to go everywhere, and of course there's going to be that shock value. Perfection is a fun game. It's a great kids game. It's great for dexterity, but if you're playing it against somebody else, it makes it that much better. And that bar that makes the board pop up once you finish is awesome. I love that. There's nothing better than watching your opponent jump up every time. It's great. So folks, head-to-head perfection. Okay, folks, that does it for me this time. We're closing in. We're going to be doing number 61 through 50 next time. We'll see you then. Take care.